good morning. It's 7:04 on this Wednesday. It's October 26th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. A Wednesday morning. Wednesdays means it's time to talk about Cedar Stone Bank. And believe it or not, he is right here this morning. Bob McDonald, President, CEO. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's nice to have you here. I don't know. Half the time you're here, half the time maybe you call in.
Yeah.
We have a good time talking about Cedar Stone Bank and other things each week.
Yes, love how I start my Wednesdays with you guys. I love coming in and seeing MJ. I first come in, I see MJ, I give her a hug, then I go see Billy, shake his hand, then I come see you here in Studio B.
And we sit here and talk.
And we do. So we've been doing this a long time, haven't we? I think since 2007,
appreciate
2008.
you advertising with us, and I hope it's been good for the bank. I think it has.
It's been great. You and I talked a number of times how people will come in and say that they've been hearing us for years, and they finally decided to come in and open their accounts with us. So. Yeah. We're delighted that people do that and that they're listening to your show.
Well, I don't know what you want to talk about, but I'm going to throw something out here. We know interest rates have risen quite a bit, and the Fed keeps adding on a little bit. Might be going to do it one more time this year, and then if that doesn't, they're thinking about maybe in the first of next year. How has that affected you in banking at Cedar Stone?
Yeah, it has impacted the bank and our customers in a number of ways. Now, as we know, the Fed meets again November 1 and 2, and they're expected to raise interest rates another 75 basis points, 0.75%. Mm-hmm. They meet again in December, and they're expected to raise rates in that meeting either 0.5 point to perhaps another 0.75 point. So that's pretty significant. You and I talked about that. In November, that'll be the fourth consecutive 0.75 point bump, and they did 0.5% bump prior to that. So they haven't raised rates like that in decades, certainly this quick. So they're obviously doing this trying to get a handle on inflation. They were. It's apparent now that they were a little slow to the dance at dealing with inflation back earlier in the year. But the way it impacts the bank and its customers, Coleman, is it raises our rates. So it's good for depositors because folks who've been getting very low rates on their money market accounts or their CDs for so long, they're now getting better interest rates. It also raises rates on loan customers. So those folks who are used to getting, for example, a 30-year fixed rate loan in the secondary market, back in March or April, that rate was 2.75. Now it's 7.5. So you can imagine how that has impacted home sales, which have slowed down. It's also impacts people refinancing their home, people who want to maybe get a lower rate. So their cost of borrowing has increased,
right? Which
means that borrowing has slowed down to some degree. But Coleman, I tell you what we're seeing. Recession is apparently imminent because you just can't raise rates that much, slow things down that much, and not have some element of a recession. But we're still seeing confidence and health here in your listening area. People are still borrowing money. Yeah. I mean, we're loaning money. We had a loan close yesterday for someone who's buying a new piece of real estate for their business. So we still have that going on. People are still buying cars. People are still traveling and going on vacations. I hear customers come in all the time, and they've just gotten back from a vacation or they're about to go to a vacation. So there's still a lot of confidence out there.
Well, quickly, has this really affected the bank? Is it better for you, worse for you, or no different?
It's really no different. I mean, when you have higher rates, then banks can increase their margin, meaning what banks charge on a loan and what we pay on a deposit, that margin gets wider as rates are higher. And when rates are low, obviously that becomes a little more compressed. Right. So it can be advantageous for banks when you're in a higher rate market, even though you might have fewer loan requests, but the margin on those loans could be higher.
Yeah. Well, we got time for you to talk about the Simply Better free checking.
Yes, thanks, Coleman.
Free in every sense of the word.
I love how we wrap up with that each morning. By the way, Susan told me to tell you hello.
Hello, Susan.
And yeah, she's listening. But our Simply Free Checking, Coleman, the best part about it is we've been open almost 19 years. We'll be 19 years old next April, and we've had free checking from day one. It is free in every possible way. You get free checks if you like still doing your banking with paper. If you like to bank with us electronically, that's free too. Bill pay, ATM card usage anywhere in the world is free. Mobile banking, all that's free. So it's a great account for anyone of any age, and we encourage folks to come see us if they're not already banking with us.
All right, great to have you here. And just a reminder again, Bob McDonald, President, CEO, Cedarstone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Julia Donaldson, Simple Banking, Simply Better.
Thanks, my friend.
See you next week. We're 10 minutes after the hour, and I have a guest this morning that I want to introduce right now, who is another candidate for 5th District Congress. And today we have us Rick Shannon. Rick, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. Thanks
Nice
for
to have you here live in studio. You were here when I got here this morning, and that was a welcoming moment to see you. And not be like yesterday when I had a no-show. But we won't go into that. It is there are actually 5 candidates on the ballot. We have a Republican nominee that we had on Monday. The Democrat nominee is going to be on Friday. There are 3 independents, you being one of those, and you're here today to talk about that. Daniel Cooper, independent candidate. Now, I want to start out, if you will, tell us about yourself. Your background, maybe where you live, anything you'd like folks to know about you this morning.
Well, thank you for having me, Coleman. My name is Rick Shannon. I live down in Franklin, Tennessee. I've owned a few restaurants, a big part of the community down there. I've got 4 children. My youngest is 17 years old. He's a junior in Centennial High School right now. And basically, why I'm running for this position is...
Well, no, wait a minute. You're a Marine, and I guess once a Marine, always a Marine.
Yes, and I run into people all the time whose fathers were Marines, and they say, my father passed on, and I'm like, no, we just regroup. So, yes, once a Marine, always a Marine. And served from 1987 to 1994. And, seen some things, done some things. And now I'm looking at this opportunity to serve our country again, because our country is in worse shape than it was back when I served. So
that's part of the reason why you're running. Then there's got to be a few more.
There's a one defining thing that actually made me kind of snap was back when the 2nd Avenue got bombed in Nashville, and then watching the interviews and watching certain responses to the bombing, something in me just kind of went the wrong way, and I saw 2 brothers running the same area, and I just couldn't see how John and Jim Cooper being over the same area could be effective. Having 2 people run the same area. One is a congressman, one is a mayor. So I talked to a few people, some people who run our state. And one thing led to another, and I ended up, running for United States Congress in the old district, and then the lines got redrawn, and here we are today.
All right, now describe your political philosophy. You're running as an independent. Are you more Democrat, more Republican, more conservative, more liberal?
I've been a lifelong Republican. My personal beliefs always go conservative, but being who I am, I can't just put all my eggs in a party basket. Who I am is I will defend American people, period. You do you. Just don't try to tell me that I have to believe what you want to do, but I do have your back as an American citizen. The Republican Party itself is a conservative party. The other side of things, they've turned so far left. So far left that what they used to be tolerant of everything has now become the most intolerant of anybody. And on the conservative end of things, They're now trying to tell people on the far right side of things that if you don't believe this way, then we're not going to listen to you, anything you have to say. So you have two parties that just don't talk to each other, that are not going to get anything accomplished because they're so busy bickering between each other that nothing's getting done.
You feel comfortable then running as an independent?
I do, actually. The more people I've been talking to people since January 2020 about politics. People are so fed up with politics itself, like I am, that they're looking for something else. You have the media, you have the middle of the road Republicans, the middle of the road Democrats that are in the middle of things that think that the two-party system is failing our country. And it's tough for me to sit there and watch, a country that I actually bled for, throwing names at each other and saying, well, the left is doing this, well, the right is doing that. Well, it's ridiculous. We're Tennessee. When we have a flood back in 2010, it didn't matter what your race, religion, sexual orientation, financial situation, or any of that was. We got together. I burned through 2 chainsaw blades helping people out. We told the federal government, we got this. That's who we are. And in 2008, we had an ice storm, and I watched people pull over on, 24, 440, and go to people's houses they didn't know, and they stayed overnight. That's who we are. This whole bickering thing that our country's got going on, that's not who we are. And what I want to do is I want to take Tennessee's values, our values, to the federal government and say, this is how we do it. When 9/11, when we got bombed, it didn't matter what your belief systems were. We all got together. It shouldn't take tragedy for us to realize that we are Americans.
Okay, we got to take a break right here. Rick Shannon is my guest, independent candidate for District 5 Congress. We will be back with more in a moment here on Coleman & Company, FM 98.9.
And it's 7:16. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford and the Lifetime Brake Pad Guarantee. With the purchase of a brake service, replacement brake pads will be provided at no cost for as long as the customer owns a vehicle. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Still heavy traffic right now trying to get out of Rutherford County up through the Hickory Hollow area on 24 going westbound. It's busy as expected. I-40 through Mount Juliet coming in from Wilson County. And just give yourself extra time. I'm telling you, lots of radar, even around the airport where it's heavy over there on I-40 westbound up by Donaldson Pike. Hey, attention dentists. Dental Staff School can provide you with qualified dental assistance. Google Dental Staff School. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
This is Bob McDonald with Cedar Stone Bank. For 17 years now, we've been serving our communities in Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and Donaldson. We can serve you in the way that best fits your needs. We have all the banking technology, we have beautiful buildings, but more importantly, we have great people. On behalf of our board of directors, I thank you for banking with us. If you don't currently bank with us, please come by and visit us in any of our locations. It would be our pleasure to talk with you about how simple banking is simply better.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
4 years ago, we elected an unlikely man as governor, Bill Lee, a businessman and farmer, not a politician. He felt he could make our lives better, and he has. Bill Lee has maintained a steady hand. He's exactly the type of governor we need for 4 more years. Governor?
There's a phrase, as the family goes, so goes the nation. Maria and I sure believe that. We've made investing in children and families, moms, a top priority, putting millions into women's health care, expanding TennCare benefits dramatically for new moms, and making Tennessee a better state for foster and adoptive families. Your family, my family, we're just getting started.
Paid for by Bill Lee for Tennessee, Fred DeCosimo, Treasurer.
The Wilson County FCE Family and Community Education is having a craft bazaar Saturday, November 5th at the Wilson County Fairgrounds. It takes place at the Turner Evans Building from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. The craft bazaar features various crafts and homemade items available for purchase just in time for the holidays. Bring the whole family to shop. It's the FCE Craft Bazaar Saturday, November 5th at the Wilson County Fairgrounds.
Cumberland University football is back in action this Saturday, October 29th, as the Phoenix travel to Montgomery, Alabama to take on Faulkner University. This is Christian Capozzi of the Cumberland Sports Network inviting you to join Bob Lee and myself this Saturday right here on WANT and WCOR for play-by-play coverage of Cumberland football. Pre-game coverage begins at 1 o'clock leading up to a 1:30 kickoff. The Faulkner Eagles meet the Cumberland Phoenix this Saturday at 1:30 here on WANT and WCOR.
Fall is here. Shop Springs Creamery invites you to their fall festivities on the farm. Grab some fresh ice cream and enjoy the corn maze, shell corn pit, dummy roping, and the corn cannon, happening September 16th through October 30th. For more info, visit shopspringscreamery.com. For fresh ice cream, fall festivities, and fun for the whole family, make plans to visit Shop Springs Creamery 4 miles off I-40 towards Watertown, September 16th through October 30th. Happy fall, y'all!
Coleman and Company here on a Wednesday morning. Welcome to our program, and we welcome Rick Shannon, candidate for District 5 Congress, running as an independent. There are things in Washington that you don't like. The direction that our country is headed, I think, especially the last 2 years, there are a lot of things you wouldn't agree with. If you're in Washington, D.C. as a member of Congress, what can you do?
The first thing I can do, being one of 435 people, mind you, is I would like to start a national campaign called 8 and Out. And what that would be was once your person, your representative, whether it be senator or it be congressman, after 8 years, you don't vote for them anymore. Congress is never going to implement a law with term limits. We, the people, have to take that back for us. So that's the one thing that I'm going to do is start this 8 and Out campaign just to get some of those cast of characters that we've been watching for the past 30, 40 years out of the professional politic business.
Let's talk about some of the issues that we're hearing a lot about. One of the things, and to be honest, it bothers me a lot, is that we almost have no border between the United States and Mexico. And all the illegals that are coming into this country, and I read something a day or two ago, I believe 2 million, I don't know over what period of time that was, but it's an incredible number of people that are coming, and it seems there's a little to stop them. What do you want to do about that?
Well, to understand what's going on with the border, you have to first understand is why both sides are using humans as some kind of economy to back their political agendas. Because you have one side that wants all these illegals coming in because it benefits them, and once they get in, the other side of the political spectrum is using them to ship them all over the country to use a political point. So first and foremost, we have to close the border. We're the only country in the world that has an open border like that, and people are just flooding through. And when people say, you know, it's Donald Trump's wall and this, that, the other thing, they forget that it was Bill Clinton's fence before it was anybody's anything. And then every president after that, it was their wall, their wall, their wall, their wall. But it depends on what your political viewpoint is and who happens to be in office, whether or not that's a good idea or a bad idea to build the wall. But it's our border. I have friends that it took them, they moved here from South Africa, and it took them 10 years to go through the immigration process to become citizens. And now we have an open border to where we're inviting illegal people to just trample all over who we are as a country and giving them money instead of taking care of our own American citizens first. We're just, it boggles my mind that this is happening. And in our government, on whatever side of the things that you believe in, is allowing this to happen. There is just no control, and the border is actually a good representation of where our country is right now. Because if we can't control who's coming in our country, how can we control our country itself? So.
All right, I want to ask you another thing. We have a deficit and approach, if not already reached, $31 trillion, which is an astounding, that's a mind-boggling number to right. $31 trillion. But does that bother you, and what can you do about it?
What bothers me is that we have a current administration who believes that solving a spending problem is more spending. Solving a debt problem is creating more debt. You know, in Congress, there's 6 things basically that Congress is responsible for. First thing is levy taxes. You know, that's what Congress is responsible for. And then we regulate commerce, establish uniform law of naturalization, establish federal courts, establish and maintain a military, and declare war. Those first 2 things about the economy is regulation. We have to regulate economy. And we're talking about inflation and deficits and debt and everything that is caused 100% by politicians. 100% of the problems that we have in our government and we're facing today with crime, with inflation, with immigration is 100% politicians' fault. It's not the average American citizen's fault. We just go by what we have to do. We have to have some kind of order back into our government that oversees and regulates how we do things. The $31 trillion, whatever the number, nobody can even imagine what that is. That's just ridiculous. And who owns that debt? Because if we're in debt, who owns the debt? That's something that nobody ever asked that question. You know, we're in debt to who? Are we in debt to ourselves? Are we in debt to, where is that $31 trillion? And why do we keep printing money and our dollar keeps getting worth less and less and less every time a day goes by? So we have to stop that.
We're really running out of time. This is going by so fast. What about some of the social issues? Where do you stand on abortion?
You know what? My personal beliefs in abortion is my personal beliefs, just like yours are going to be yours. And I don't believe that it should have been legislated in the first place ever. Just because as a Christian, I believe one way doesn't mean that I have to force my beliefs on you. And that's kind of a tough thing, because when we separated church and state, you know, back in 1791, and in 1833, every state adopted that into their state constitutions, we separated the belief system from having to tell somebody what they should believe in. Now, when we talk about the abortion issue, we're talking about when life starts, you know, are we killing a baby? You know, that's a personal choice. That's a personal decision. And it's tough for me to say as a conservative that I can't tell you what to do with your life. I can't tell you what to do with your body. That's between you and God, or whatever you believe in. So for us as a government to legislate a moral issue, that's a slippery slope. Shouldn't have done it, in my opinion, back in 1973, and today we're still fighting that battle.
Well, do you think this would be for states to that it's not part of our Constitution for the federal government to?
Everything should be part of states. We are a republic, and it drives me nuts that people say we're a democracy. We are a republic. Every decision that has to do with the state, inside the state, needs to be run by the state. The governor is in charge of the state. So if one governor is, you know, pro this, then another governor is not pro this, move to a state that you want to live in.
One other thing real quick here, the Second Amendment, gun ownership, where you stand there?
I'm a Marine. You know, I'm from Baltimore originally. I believe that we do have an amendment right to carry. In Tennessee, we have a constitutional carry law now, and we're in a position now to where the laws in other states and the criminals are outmanning and outgunning us. So we have to level the playing field. And as horrible as it sounds like, that people have to arm themselves to protect themselves, but that is our fundamental right. And in today, it's more prevalent than ever that you have got to be able to protect yourself out there in the world, because it's worse today than it ever was.
All right, you've got about a minute and a half. I'm going to give you the last minute 15 here to kind of wrap it up. Rick Shannon, tell us why you should be our next 5th District Congressman.
Well, I can tell you that really quick, because on one side, on the Democratic side, we have somebody who's a professional politician, and on the Republican side, who the nomination for the Republican side is also a professional politician. And if you go back and you look at the track records of the people running and the people nominated, they're just looking to put another feather in their cap. I can't say that I have faith in either one of those people or parties that they have your best interest in mind. And I can't see how we are running for United States Congress. And I grew up watching debates, as everybody did, but yet we have both parties that are refusing to debate each other, which excludes me because I can't debate somebody who doesn't want to debate. And so if you can't stand up to your opposition, how in the world are you going to have the wherewithal to stand up in Congress in the hornet's nest of our country and argue a point for the 5th District people? And another thing is, the 5th District isn't all Republicans and it's not all Democrats. We make up everybody. We need a voice for everybody. And we have two parties that do not have everybody's best interest in mind. We have the left side of things that believes the federal government should run everything. We have the right side of things that jumps on every Republican bandwagon or news story that comes up, and they just talk about that. Nobody is saying, hey, we need to bring sense back to Congress, and then we need to make it common again. Nobody is doing that. And so that is my goal, is to try to bring some levity and some sense back to Congress, to people, because out here in the world, we're not what the federal government is telling us we are. We're not racist. We're not bigots. We're not this. We're not that. But yet we have a government telling us we are. And they use everything possible to divide us. And right now we have two people, and then one person who was a former president, that they are still using to divide people. You know, you've got these followers thinking that this guy can save everything. And he was a great president, yes. But using that to divide us that's pretty much the nail in the coffin for this next go around in elections, because that's going to continue dividing America.
Well, we'll remind everybody early voting is in progress right now, Election Day on Tuesday, November 8th, and we thank you for being with us this morning.
Coleman, thank you for having me.
Rick Shannon, candidate for 5th District Congress. That's part one of Coleman and Company. Keep it here for more, FM 98.9.
And it's 7:31. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank our friends at Absolute Kubota. Write it off the lot. Write it off your taxes. Visit Absolute Kubota. Take advantage of the Section 179 tax deduction when you buy new Kubota construction equipment, tractors, RTVs, hay tools, or turf products. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. We see heavy traffic right now, 24, trying to get up through the Hickory Hollow area coming in from Rutherford County. There's a minor wreck out there over to the side, 24 westbound at Elmaville Road, not causing too much of a backup yet. Heavy traffic through Hermitage, Donaldson right now coming in from Wilson County on 40 westbound, 40 east up through Kingston Springs. That's starting to pick up all that traffic being pushed in behind it there from Dixon County. Attention dentists, Dental Staff School can provide you with qualified dental assistance. Google Dental Staff School. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
When you needed portable heating, cooling, generators and remediation equipment, contractor tools, or any other equipment or solution to help you get the job done, you trusted Absolute Rental and Supply. Now that same team brings you more equipment and more solutions as Herc Rentals. From construction and industrial to HVAC and homeowner, Herc Rentals has the gear and expertise to get jobs done efficiently, effectively, and safely. Visit us today at 1325 Main Street in Lebanon or online at hercrentals.com. That's HERC Rentals.com.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
4 years ago, we elected an unlikely man as governor, Bill Lee, a businessman and farmer, not a politician. He felt he could make our lives better, and he has. Bill Lee has maintained a steady hand. He's exactly the type of governor we need for 4 more years. Governor?
There's a phrase, as the family goes, so goes the nation. Maria and I sure believe that. We've made investing in children and families, moms, a top priority. putting millions into women's health care, expanding TennCare benefits dramatically for new moms, and making Tennessee a better state for foster and adoptive families. Your family, my family, we're just getting started.
Paid for by Bill Lee for Tennessee, Fred DeCosimo, Treasurer.
Hi, everybody. Tommy Bryan. Join me, along with Harry Stafford, Bob Lee, and Joe Gardner, as we bring you Lebanon High School football. Brought to you by Bates Ford, Bakes and Hooker, K. Maynard Insurance, Lebanon Police Chief Mike Justice, Wilson County Sheriff Robert Bryan, Kenny Salas, Sports World, and Wilson Bank and Trust. The Blue Devils close out the regular season Friday, October 28th, as Warren County comes to town on WANT and WCOR.
The Titans are back on the road this Sunday, NRG Stadium, Houston, Texas. Titans and Texans. Mike Keith and Coach Mac, Dave McGinnis, call all the action of Titans versus Texans.
Brought to you by Bakes and Hooker, Bates Ford, Steve Mall Plumbing, The Jewelers, and the City of Lebanon Gas in Tennessee. 811, call before you dig.
This is Wilson County's home for real country music and the Tennessee Titans. Real Country 98.9.
Contact Stephen Lowry Land Clearing for all your land clearing needs. Whether it's clearing trails for ATVs, reclaiming pasture, or clearing your land of brush and trees, Stephen Lowry can get the job done. He works closely with customers, adjusting to make changes as you want. Steve Lowry will give you quality work at a price that you could afford. He will also beat any written estimate. Call Stephen Lowry at 615-970-8154 for all your land clearing needs. That's Stephen Lowry Land Clearing, 615-970-8154.
We will be staying dry and cooler today with heavy cloud cover and a gentle breeze. Look for a high of just 60 degrees this afternoon, dropping to 44 overnight. Thursday looks warmer with a high of 67, returning to the 70s on Friday. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm number one Ned.
Coleman and Company, welcome to part two here on a Wednesday morning. We're already having fun. We want to talk about Herc Rentals right now. Jonathan Smith joins us this morning to do the commercial. Jonathan, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Good to see you again. It is
you.
Herc Rentals, 1325 West Main in Lebanon. Keith Illey is the area manager. Jonathan, you've been there for quite some time, and seen a little change here now that it's Herc Rentals rather than Absolute Rental and Supply.
Yes, sir. Yeah, there's been quite a bit of change, all for the good. We've got more access to more equipment, so we can help you get just about any job you got in mind done.
What's going big right now?
Right now, it's aeration season, renting aerators, your pull behinds, ride-ons, walk behinds, seed and fertilizer.
A lot of people getting there, and the fall is the time to do that, and it's time is kind of running out, and I mean it's getting close to.
We're getting to near
the window there is closing.
Yes, sir. Probably in the next within the next month it'll probably be about over with.
Yeah. But you got all you need. The aerators a lot of people use that piece of equipment to make your yard breathe, as I understand it, something like that. And then all the seed, and fertilizer, and everything else that you need to do at this time of year.
Yes, sir. We've got all that in stock. Just call to reserve it.
Well, by the way, that phone number is the same as it's always been, 615-443-RENT. And phone rings off the wall some days, doesn't it?
Yeah. I would like to talk about one thing this morning. We are getting into some new stuff, floor care items like your floor scrubbers, diamond concrete grinders, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So just want to let everybody know that we're getting heavily involved with floor care right now. Mm-hmm. So that's something that is available.
Well, now, would that involve not only do-it-yourselfers, but maybe contractors as well? Or?
Yeah, especially like your diamond concrete grinders. That's kind of geared more for the contractors, but DIYers can do it also. Mm-hmm. But we have got several grinders in stock right now, and it just makes your job a lot easier. and you get excellent results with it.
Now, when somebody comes to rent a piece of equipment, and maybe one that could be a little bit dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, you still go over the procedure with you, how to start, stop, and be safe with it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we want to make sure safety's top priority at Herc Rentals. So from everybody that's working at the store to our visitors coming in on the lot, that is a huge thing that we're trying to get more people to be mindful of, to just have that in mind all the time. We don't want nobody hurt. At the end of the day, we want everybody to go home to their family.
Right. Well, you still, of course, have the delivery service. You will deliver a piece of equipment and then come and pick it up whenever they're through with it, and that's for a nominal fee goes with that. But that's a great service for somebody who doesn't have a way to transport equipment.
Yeah, we can deliver anything we got to you.
And then you come and pick it up whenever you're through with it, I guess.
Yep, just give us a call and let us know you're done, and we'll be out to get it.
And you have, I think Herc has introduced several new pieces of equipment. You were talking about some of it, but quite a bit of new stuff that's available now that wasn't before.
Oh, yeah. We've got cord reels now. Like I was saying, the diamond concrete grinders, floor care to polish and clean your floors, tile floors. We're really expanding. If we don't have it, we don't want to tell you no, because we might be able to pull from another location.
Right.
Which
is something you really couldn't do before.
Right. We was limited.
Right. Okay. 615-443-RENT's the number, and of course 1325 West Main. One other thing we might mention, Jonathan, is your website, and that has changed, of course. That is HercRentals.com, and it has an S on it. HERC, Herc Rentals with an S.com.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And a lot of people use that, don't they?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Anything else before you go this morning?
Still doing propane, so it's getting cold out. So anybody that needs propane refills, we are still doing propane.
Okay, I'm gonna have to make a note of that. I don't have that on my notes. Propane.
Yes, sir.
Available at Herc Rentals.
That's right.
Well, Jonathan, thanks for being with us this morning.
All right, thanks for having me, Coleman.
Herc Rentals, 1325 West Main in Lebanon, 615-443-RENT, and the website hercrentals.com. We're about 18 and a half before the hour, and this morning I have as my guests two gentlemen that are pretty well known in our area, I think, Mr. James Van Hook and Mr. Bobby Vaughn. Although I think anymore, he's, at least on Facebook, he's known as Robert Vaughn. Can you believe that? Bobby, good morning.
Morning.
It's nice to see you today. James Van Hook, good morning to you.
Coleman, how are you?
Oh, with mentioning the two of you, a lot of our regular listeners probably know what we're about to talk about.
Yes, sir.
And if I mention Fred Van Hook, then they're just about sure going to know. But Fred Van Hook and Kenneth White years ago started a gospel music festival, and the 49th one is upon us, right?
Yes, sir.
Pull that mic just a little bit closer to you there, if you will. Yes, all right, okay. What did we do with, did we have a break? I'm trying to think back. 2 years ago, did you do this?
No, sir, there was never a break. In 2020, we thought we were going to have to, but we had just used the outdoor venue at the Ward Ag Center.
Okay.
And so, there's 2020. Of course, that turned out to be Dad's last one.
Uh-huh.
And but we didn't want to have. We did whatever we needed to do not to have a break. So it's 49 consecutive.
All right. Tell us when and where.
Next Saturday night, September the 5th, at Emmanuel Baptist Church at 6:30 here in Lebanon, 214 Castle Avenue. Most people know where Emmanuel is.
Yes, I think they do. And starts at 6:30. How long will it go?
It's normally 2.5 hours or so, on average.
So we're talking about maybe 9 o'clock or so.
9 o'clock. That's about right. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, you wanted to carry on, I think, what your father started, and
right.
was, I think, fairly successful at. Anything it goes for 47, 48 years.
That's right. Yes, sir.
For him, what, 47 years, I guess?
Yes, the 47th was his last one. And he had always told me, especially there towards the end, that he wanted to see it at the very minimum go to 50 years if I could do that.
Yeah.
So that's that's our first goal, and then move on from there. You know.
Well, the two of you have, I don't know whether you've sang together much or not, but you've known each other for a long time. I mean, I've known Bobby, too, when he used to play Babe Ruth baseball. My
Yes,
brother. You remember John?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Quick as a cat.
Oh, but you've had a plumbing business here. In fact, you and your daddy were together in that for a long time, and then you took it over, I think. But you've retired now, I understand.
Yes, we started our plumbing business in '89, and Dad worked with me up until he got where he was legally blind and couldn't drive. But he was always there as a sounding board. I could always call on him, and he could remember stuff from years ago. I can't remember what I had for breakfast. But yeah, and I shut it down about 10 years ago, I guess.
But you've been singing most of your life, haven't you?
Pretty much. You know, started as probably a teenager over at Fairview Baptist Church, and evolved into singing with groups. Enjoy it.
Well, Fred has had he's had several groups really, and maybe 2 or 3 different names over the years. You sang with him some too, didn't you, James?
Yes, sir. Currently singing with him. He started Harmoniers in '84. Prior to that, he had the Proclamations, which and those are really other than when he was him and his cousins and another man I can't remember his name at the moment had a Cedar City quartet, they called it back in when he was in high school. But the Proclamations and now Harmoniers since '84 has been his primary, along with all the churches he's led at and revivals constantly.
We are approaching time for a break. Again, it's going to be next Saturday, November 5th, the 49th Annual Gospel Music Festival at Emmanuel Baptist Church. Tell us who's going to be there, and don't elaborate, just tell us, and then we'll get into that when we come back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bobby's group, Mercy Road Quartet, been with us several times. Commonwealth Quartet, our group, the Harmoniers, and Emmanuel's own, New Life Trio, along with soloist Greg Balsley.
Okay, they are the ones that you will see, and we'll talk about where you get tickets, all about this. Actually, I'm seeing right here, it says free admission, a love offering will be taken. So you don't worry about admission, but bring your pocketbook.
Yes, sir. We would appreciate the support.
All right. We're going to take a break, and more with James. I'm with James Van Hook, Bobby Vaughn coming up here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:47. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, get a battery installed on most vehicles. $134.95. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Still a lot going on out here. It's busy, but it's moving 24 up through the Hickory Hollow area. All that traffic leaving Rutherford County this time of the morning. There's a crash over here on 24. It's going to be eastbound just past OHB. All that traffic's being delayed just a bit there, coming in from the Jolton area. That's 24 eastbound at OHB on the scene of that crash. Hey, attention dentists, Dental Staff School can provide you with qualified dental assistance. Google Dental Staff School. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
The Wilson County FCE Family and Community Education is having a craft bazaar Saturday, November 5th at the Wilson County Fairgrounds. It takes place at the Turner Evans Building from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. The craft bazaar features various crafts and homemade items available for purchase just in time for the holidays. Bring the whole family to shop. It's the FCE Craft Bazaar Saturday, November 5th at the Wilson County Fairgrounds.
Local elections matter. That's why Phil Moorhead is running for Lebanon City Council, Ward 6. Neighbors and friends speak up for Phil.
This is retired Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Crotto. Phil has the conservative values that I look for in a candidate running for office. He will preserve the quality of life in Ward 6. That's why I'm voting for Phil Moorhead.
Vote Phil Moorhead, Lebanon City Council, Ward 6. Paid for by Phil Moorhead for Council, Mac McCluskey, Treasurer.
4 years ago, we elected an unlikely man as governor, Bill Lee, a businessman and farmer, not a politician. He felt he could make our lives better, and he has. Bill Lee has maintained a steady hand. He's exactly the type of governor we need for 4 more years. Governor?
There's a phrase, as the family goes, so goes the nation. Maria and I sure believe that. We've made investing in children and families, moms, a top priority, putting millions into women's health care, expanding TennCare benefits dramatically for new moms, and making Tennessee a better state for foster and adoptive families. Your family, my family, we're just getting started.
Paid for by Bill Lee for Tennessee, Fred DeCosimo, Treasurer.
Good morning, Lebanon. This is Camille Burdine, Lebanon City Council person for Ward 3, asking for your support for re-election. Over the past 4 years, I have stayed true to what you have asked me to do. Expand our parks and recreations for our youth and families, bring in livable wage jobs, upgrading and expanding our infrastructure, sidewalks and roads, and bring in more retail and restaurants. I'm asking to please get out and vote this week. Camille Burdine, your positive voice and your choice for Ward 3.
Paid for by the committee to re-elect Camille Burdine. See Tracy Parks, Treasurer.
We all like to save money, and State Farm can help with discounts. When you combine your car insurance with State Farm homeowner insurance, you get big savings. So talk to me, Jeff Gannon, in Lebanon or Mount Juliet. State Farm Good Neighbor Service that has made us America's #1 insurance company. Together, we can help you make sure you get the discounts you deserve and the coverage you need. Come see me, Jeff Gannon, in Lebanon or Mount Juliet, and find out why more homeowners and drivers trust State Farm than any other insurance company.
Coleman and Company, welcome to our final segment here on a Wednesday morning. If you just joined us, we welcome you. We're talking about the 49th Annual Gospel Music Fest. James Van Hook and Bobby Vaughn are here, and they're going to be singing along with the groups that we are going to talk about here in a minute that are going to be at Emmanuel Baptist Church Saturday, November 5th, and that's a week from this Saturday. Emmanuel Baptist Church, 214 Castle Heights Avenue here in Lebanon, and it all starts at 6:30. And as we mentioned before going to the break, admission is free, but a love offering will be taken. Now, usually when we have done this program, James, when Fred was here before, we nearly always go through each group that's going to be there and talk a little bit about them.
Yes, sir.
And I'd like for us to do that. You mentioned who's going to be there, but tell us a little bit about each one, if you will.
Well, of course.
And Bobby can join in.
Bobby can speak better.
We'll let him get a word in edgewise occasionally.
Right. Commonwealth Quartet.
Y'all are as good at me as my wife is.
That's right. I can't give you a break. Commonwealth Quartet, Dwayne Harris has reformed it again with a guy that's Bobby Simpson, I believe, that started it with him years ago. And they're based out of the Gallatin and sort of the Kentucky area. Have sang with us several times over the years. Of course, Emmanuel's own New Life Trio is Mark Caruth, which is the minister of music there, and Tommy Callis and Billy Ford. And they've all sang with many groups over the years. I couldn't name. And our group, the Harmoniers, we continue on after Dad passed. Myself and my sister Jeanette, Janet Bain, and Lynn Winfrey, and then Johnny Harvey, my sister's husband now, has stepped in to help us being one short with Dad.
Yeah.
And now let Bobby speak to...
You mentioned Lynn Winfrey.
Lynn Winfrey, yes, sir.
Been around from the beginning, hadn't you?
She started with the Proclamations, Daddy's former group, I think in about 75.
Yeah.
She started like right after they formed, and
that lady loves to sing. She's part of the doo-wops.
That's correct.
Too.
That's correct.
And I can say I graduated from high school with Lynn, so I've known her a long time.
I mean, she does a great job, and she's been there with us all the whole way. With Dad, that's right. And then of course Bobby's group, Mercy Road, he can speak too. They've sang with us many times, and I'm kind of in Dad's absence. Bobby's kind of stepped in, helping me as co-organizer, or whatever the word you might want to say, and just helping whatever needed to be done. And they do a great job. And
tell us about your group, Bobby.
Well, we formed Mercy Road, and next year will be 20 years ago. And I stayed with the group for about 4 years, I think, and left and stayed gone for a while. Came back with the group about 7 years ago. We regrouped, they split, and we rebuilt the group back up. And to be honest with you, this is my final, one of my final singings with the group. I've got 5 more singings with them, and then I'm stepping down, going to do something different. Not going to quit, not retiring. I'm in good health, physically, mentally, that's questionable.
Right.
But I'm planning on doing some more singing. I don't know whether it'll be with a group or a soloist. We'll be singing at church, but they're going to continue on looking for a tenor singer right now. If anybody's out there that sings tenor, they're looking for one.
Well, they're losing a pretty good one, I think.
It depends on who you talk to. I'm kind of like fungus. I grow on you.
Well, let me tell you. In the past, you've come out here a time or two, and you sort of we're kidding, I'm sure, but you said you sang a girl part or whatever. You've got a wonderful tenor voice, and I don't want you to put. You weren't really putting yourself down, but you kind of making fun. But a good tenor voice is beautiful.
That's
I think they had so much. I love the 4-part harmony.
Yes, sir. Right,
and that's part of it.
They do it good. They do it good. Do it well.
My daddy was a good tenor singer.
Really?
Yes. And
most tenors are just frustrated, want to be bass singers.
Okay, that's where that comes from. How would you describe the songs you do?
We do a mix. We do some of the old hymns. Now, hey, I'm old. I love when I go to church and they sing the old hymns. I can stand right there. I don't have to open up a hymn book and can sing right along. Then we also sing a lot of the current songs. When we are looking for something that we want to sing, we listen to the song, we listen to the arrangement, listen to who does it, and it's got to have a message. That's the great thing about gospel music. Any well-written song tells a story, and that's the reason I love the old hymns. Praise and worship's okay, but it doesn't minister to me like a song that tells a story. And gospel music, what is gospel? Good news.
Right.
Somebody says, do you sing contemporary music? I said, yeah, I sing about Jesus. I said, that's about as now as you can get.
Anything else you want to say about, the trio from Emmanuel there? Mark Caruth and who's the other two?
Tommy Callis and then Billy Ford.
Yeah.
And also I would mention Coleman, Greg Baltzley also with us as a soloist. He sang with many groups, including Dad, over the years for 40-something years, and he's got a newly released album. He'll be promoting there and doing 2 or 3 of the songs off of that. So we're looking forward to that, and just hope everyone can come out and be with us.
Well, you've already said it starts at 6:30. We'll go to approximately 9 o'clock, so a 2.5-hour concert. Will there be an opportunity to buy anybody's music, any albums of that
Yes,
sort of thing?
basically every group will have merchandise, and we'll give them ample opportunity to support their ministry. Yes.
Well, again, admission is free. A love offering will be taken. And do we need to define a love offering? Y'all were telling a joke about
we
that.
appreciate all the love we can get. Yes, sir. Our sponsorship helps us with expenses, and then last year we got away from the ticketed event just for logistic purposes, and but last year everyone was generous and supported us and came out fine. So
and then too, if you've got merchandise, which really means
absolutely,
albums,
yes, sir.
I guess they're what do you have? Compact discs anymore?
CDs, and now a lot of people have gone to the them things you plug in.
Thumb drives?
Thumb drives, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Like my wife's car does not have a CD player.
Mine doesn't.
I finally bought a vehicle that had a CD player.
But anyway, if you like the music and you don't have to pay admission, you can buy some of that and give a little love offering too.
That's right, yes, sir.
We got a couple of minutes. I don't know whether there's anything we haven't really covered. Anything else that you feel is important we need to get out this morning?
Well, yes, I do want to thank all our sponsors. I won't go through the whole list right now; it's a little long, but they will be. They were on these mail outs, and also in addition to this list, I want to say thank you to WANT and Coleman Walker, because he has not only this year, for most of the last 49 years, as far as I know, has always had Dad on and supported and helped spread the word. We appreciate that.
We've for sure done it more years than we missed.
Absolutely. If you missed any, I'm not aware of it. So
I didn't,
whatever.
I haven't kept up with
That's
it.
right. Yes, sir.
But But
we appreciate it.
This is something that has been part of our community for all these years.
Yes,
the
sir.
49th annual one coming up a week from Saturday. And you are definitely wanting to, for sure, complete the 50 years that your father requested.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the next year will be a big one. We're hoping actually to bring back a lot of the people that have sang over the years. And we're still working on that plan. But people like even, you might not know Mandy Barnett, the Grand Ole Opry star, this was one of her first starts when she was a young teenager. She sang for a couple of years in the 80s. And several of the big groups over the years, Bobby Mike, Kingsman, Siegel Brothers and Naomi, just a lot of the big groups. And a lot of them still around, and we're going to try to bring some of them back for a deal next year. But
I still remember the Loopers from, I think it's Livingston.
That's right. I believe that. Yes, that's another one. There's many that I can't remember. But
we're about out of time here.
Yes,
just again, reminder that James Van Hook, Bobby Vaughn, my guest here with the Gospel Music Festival, 49th Annual one, next Saturday, November 5th at Emmanuel Baptist Church, and starts at 6:30. Thank you all for being with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Coleman.
Okay, that's it for a Wednesday. Join us tomorrow. Until then, I wish you a wonderful day.